Well, a very good evening. It's good to be back. Welcome to the broadcast. Now, tonight, we will be speaking to tonight, the court has granted the investigators' wishes, and now the Embakasi gas plant owner, the three named officials, will remain in custody for 21 days. And of course, the borrowers have been condemned to even higher lending rates as the central bank raises its lending rate by about 0.50 percentage points. The implication of this move after our first break, when we speak to PKF's chief exec, Alpesh Vander. Stick around for this conversation. At KTN News KE, the hashtag, as always, is NewsHour. Please join the conversation online if you can, using that hashtag. And Maresha Witty is with us tonight on sign language. Let's get the show on an affordable note. We begin with our top story tonight. The Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission Selection Panel now says it's still waiting for funding from the government to resume the selection of IEBC commissioners as directed by the High Court last week. According to the panel's chairperson, Dr. Nelson Makanda, although they have finalized the shortlisting of the 925 applicants, they don't have the funds to advertise those shortlisted. But as our senior political affairs reporter, Chris Thairo, reports, the National Dialogue Committee co-chair Kalonzo Musyoka says the panel should not continue with the interviews until Parliament debates and, of course, approves the NADCO report, which is currently before the House.
Despite the High Court ruling ordering the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission IEBC selection panel to immediately restart the recruitment of new chair and commissioners to avert a constitutional crisis, it has now emerged that the panel is financially grounded. According to the chairman of the panel, Nelson Makanda, the panel has no finances to advertise those shortlisted for the position of IEBC chair and commissioners. Makanda says they will have to wait until they get funding from the executive, given that the law requires them to publish those shortlisted for the commissioner's job in the local dailies, as well as indicate their scheduled interview dates. Going by the statements made by Majority Leader in the National Assembly, Kimani Ichung'wah, over the weekend, the selection panel will have to hold a little bit to pave way for Parliament to debate and approve the National Dialogue Committee report.
The law has no mechanism of stopping the IEBC recruitment panel. But also in the same light, the law does not limit the time that that panel would take. And because we engaged in a bipartisan process through the national dialogue to change the law in the reconstitution of IEBC, we are very optimistic that when we resume Parliament, we should be able to quickly adopt the report in a bipartisan manner.
Ichung'wah has already indicated that the debate on the report will be prioritized when members of Parliament resume from the long recess on Tuesday next week.
The new commission that will be recruited under whichever model that Parliament will agree on, will be able to recruit commissioners and be able to do even delimitation of boundaries and conduct by-elections in the constituencies that are yet to be represented in Parliament, like Banisa.
The Azimio Brigade had demanded that the selection panel should stop the exercise of recruiting new IEBC commissioners on grounds that the composition of the panel was one-sided and it would definitely favor the Kenya Kwanza coalition.
Gari sasa wako katika harakati ya kuunda tume mpya ya uchaguzi na wameweka jopo ambao ni yao, rafiki yao, kwenda kufanya hiyo. Hiyo ni kuanza kufanya rigging ya uchaguzi wa 2027. Kutakuwa na haja ya mtu kusimama 2027. Kwa hivyo Kenya wasipojitokeza wakati huu na waseme enough is enough, hakuna Kenya huko mbele.
Let's have proper consultation and let's come up with a proper way. And my view is, let us allow political parties to nominate people to this house, Madam Speaker. And this house vets them and looks at their suitability and gives them the mandate to come up with a proper electoral body, Madam Speaker.
Reforming IEBC by changing also the composition of the selection panel was one of the main reasons that Azimio staged countrywide demonstrations last year. Lawyers have already warned that the continued delay of recruiting new IEBC commissioners would cause a constitutional crisis, given that the constitutional deadline of delimitation of boundaries is less than 2 months away. Chris Dairu, KTN News, Nairobi.
All right, now let's take you back to where all this began.